afternoon and a very warm welcome to Afternoon Express. Now, yesterday we heard of the tragic news of the passing of music legend, social activist Oliver Mtukudzi. And Tuku, as he was affectionately known, he was gifted with a deep and gusty voice and a talent for writing songs that reflect on the daily life and struggles of the people. Let's reflect on the life of a really great man whom we had the pleasure of having in the loft not so long ago.
For as long as there are people, there's always something to talk about. And if there is anything to talk about, then there's something to sing about. It all comes from the people and giving it back to them.
With a career spanning more than 20 years, he has produced 42 original albums, most of them bestsellers. But it was his dedication to the live music scene in Zimbabwe that has earned him his respect and the admiration of the people all over the world. Oliver's desire to bring his message to a wider audience led him to venture into the worlds of film, stage and screen. Let's take another look at the icon who we had the pleasure of interviewing.
So it's very important in life that yourself, your inner self, respects the next person. If you can't do that, then you'll have a problem in this world.
We'd like to send our deepest and most sincere condolences to the family of Tuku and to all of those who loved him. You will remain in our hearts forever. So welcome to another spectacular edition of Afternoon Express. Now, praise poetry is an important form of oral literature in Africa. It exists in many different parts of Africa. In Zulu, they call it izibongo. In Tswana, it's maboko. And in Shivenda, it's called zwidoko. So, Zwikodo, yeah, that's it. So today we meet award-winning praise poet Vendaboy Poet, who will be performing later on in the loft. We also chat to Tando and Sipumeze, who are co-founders of Estratweni Mobile Foods, a social enterprise that is intentional in making a change in their community. Plus, we chat to the director and actress of the movie 3 Days to Go, which premieres tomorrow. And Gareth Flusk from Sun International also joins us in the loft to chat about the prestigious Sun Met taking place this weekend. Now, the most common purpose of praise poetry is to praise the character and the achievements of chiefs and kings and the acts of kingship. Lutendo Makgakgadeli, aka Vendaboy, became popular after surprising President Cyril Ramaphosa on a flight to Durban. Not only can he praise in Tshivenda, but also he can praise in 6 different languages as well. Let's take a look at some of his work.
Zvanga zviva kudzeni vote vatondeni nevarembuluse neanga mafungo atoda vone na inwi ndiani vona khaladzi yanga nodzula gudhani la mathupo ambaho ndine mureni ndine lutendo tendani upika sathu vona honeha ndanga vasendedza uralo ipfi ya chiamba ndiani vona khaladzi yanga mukomana wanga khotsi ya mubeba nga ramakole chifani chothe nga shangu chiyafisa chena dzula khacho chidulo ubhala thandululo ya mubeba nga vavili vachi zvinake chinakela vavoni mmane wanga.
Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Akele liko jana lichina nere kele liko jana lichina ngabela ho jana mutanga wa chete da mutanga sa sitombo ntalinwe bendi bakagadera muredi. Vendaboy Poet of rain.
And that is how you start a show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You are so extraordinarily talented and you've got this amazing confidence and the zest for life, which is why I was so interested in your story and why I really wanted to interview you. Because your early days are, it paints a picture of this poor, lonely, neglected boy living in a rural town. And kind of poetry saved you. Yes,
it really saved me, yeah.
Take me back to those years and how you discovered poetry.
Okay. I don't know where to start. It's really the grace of God to be where I am today. I'm from the rural area in a place called Manyima, Tabarara. Studying poetry, it was kind of like difficult on my way, and growing up, it was kind of difficult way. Sometimes I'll go at school without shoes, sometimes those kind of difficult things. So it was a bit difficult, but poetry became a savior in my life, where I started to join poetry instead of a way to say I want to express my feeling, the way I grow up, how I struggle. So it was an way forward, you know, to express the way how I grown up. And because I believe that people need to hear what you know, where I grew up and all the struggle, all the things that they need to know so that they can, you know, understand this life and how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love how you turned it into an amazing way of healing for you.
Yes.
And also, I think, I heard that when you were younger, people used to bully you for making your poems. And the same people that used to bully you are now some of your biggest fans.
Yes, some of them, they're watching the show now, right now. They're so really proud of me for what I did, you know, because, you know, when I started doing poetry, when I started, you know, they used to bully me because of the voice. You can see that louder voice that I have when I say, rrr. A lot of people used to be amazed and say, what's going on? This guy look like crazy. You get what I'm saying? But, you know, they didn't know that it was a God grace, and that was the unique talent that I have, and only now they're so proud of what I do.
Exactly. We're all tremendously proud of you, including one particular fan, the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. What happened there? Were you on the same flight as him, or what happened?
Actually, I was invited, you know, to pray, to surprise him, to make a poem. It's like I wrote a poem about him, and you know, I'm that kind of person who believes things and really things happen. By the way, Rutendo, the real name that I have, it means faith, and everything that I do with faith. So. You know, I came across on the media and I wrote to say I want to praise the president. And then I wrote a poem about him making research. And indeed, the dream really came true when I was given an opportunity to praise him. And he was so very much excited, you know, when I was starting my things. And he was so shocked to say, how do I know where he come from and all the stuff? Because I was mentioning everything that he knows about. Yes.
What an unbelievable experience. And for those at home who feels like you were missing out on that, we actually have a little clip of that amazing, amazing moment. Let's have a look.
Jambira, bando tobana kuloni wana maifiano Africa tipembeliso na musuzura kuloni ya president ya bakuloni yoni jitangomra na butiyi usonga ngoromba tifenda kautulu no kuloni mwenyani bavendare bati bamraro.
Wow, what a flight. Entertainment on board in business class. Were you nervous?
It was my first time flying. First time, you know, it was first time. So I really couldn't feel myself, the excitement and you know, the exposure. I couldn't believe that's me, and it was a good exposure and a good experience, because now people, they can, you know, relate the story, and it has never happened in the world to find anyone praising the president inside the plane, in the air, in the other atmosphere. It never happened. So, which means it's a history in the making.
Exactly.
I can say, yes.
And also history in the making, and something that you've been tremendously proud of. Obviously, you can do your poetry in 6 different languages, and also you make it language specific. But also you've got a role on Movango, where you get to speak in Venda.
Yes, I was speaking in Venda. Thanks to Movango for hooking me up and to be part of that. I was speaking in Venda, and actually that I can say I can speak actually more than 6 languages that I can able to read, and 6 languages that I can also do poetry in throughout that. So on Movango, I was speaking in Venda. You know the line that comes in English, then you need to translate them in Venda.
So they write the script in English, and then you do the translation as you're delivering it. That is so hard.
And by the way, people, they don't know, I never studied Venda at school, because I moved in Venda when I was 10. Then I moved to Pedi people, staying with the Pedi people. Then I have to learn the language of Pedi, and then I couldn't able to speak Venda. But when I finished matric, when I started doing my poetry, that I said I need to go back to my roots and able to learn about Venda and all those kind of things. And indeed, it really saved me, because now I can even speak Venda fluently, like even though I didn't study Venda at long.
And are you fluent in all of the other languages that you can do your poetry in?
Yes.
What language do you think in?
You know, Pedi, ne? Yeah, Pedi is kind of a language that, because I study Pedi, and I can know, because in Pedi we also have different languages, your Lobedi, your Stokwa, and all those kind of things. So that's why I feel much confident, comfortable when I speak. Yeah.
Because I always thought, like, to learn different languages, you have to think in the language that you're speaking at the time. But then I watch you, and then you'll do a poem, and then you'll go from one language into the next, into the next.
Yes.
So it's hard to, like, you've got to be really smart and actually quite like a language genius to be able to do that, to switch.
The other thing that if I will tell you, I wear the language, wearing that language to say, this is me, I become in that language. And if I'm speaking Venda, then which means I must relate things that are related to Venda. If I'm doing poem in Pedi, I must relate it to the things of Pedi. So that's how I feel much confident and comfortable throughout that.
You are amazing. You are so talented. But now I have to ask you, I know we're running out of time, but I heard that you've got another talent as well, which is to imitate people's voices.
Yes.
Who are your best ones?
Actually, imitating people's voice, it's local people, maybe people that are related, that I can speak, like your Ndebele. And then in that Ndebele we say, I vele mina wakubona vele mina ngidota vele ekhambela vele ngihlele ngikhambela vele akunankinga vele noma ngijikale vele angibona vele mina ngidota vele ngumvenda vele wangibona nami ngihlelele nje. And then we can speak, I can also imitate in Slovenia. Kilokela kama waninki budela kagwa gizwazwe abazwala bagagwa idile noma mbeni kinna wako akiabaga mkwano.
You're amazing. You've got such a fantastic energy. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to hear one of your poems a little bit later on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm looking very, very forward to it. Thank you.
Welcome.
After the break, we make overnight Bircher oats. Perfect breakfast coming up after this.
Clover fresh milk is way better. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, long gone are the days of a boring bowl of oats. The Overnight Bircher oats recipe is gloriously creamy and truly satisfying, thanks to Clover fresh milk. So we're going to add a little summer taste by including your favorite seasonal fruit. And all you need to do is SMS the keyword Clover to 33650 to get the recipe sent to your device. SMSs cost R1.50 and free SMSs do not apply. And trust me, you're going to want this recipe because this is the breakfast to top all breakfasts.
Absolutely, and it's the most important meal of the day.
Exactly, but I could eat this for lunch and dinner. It looks so good.
There's not a problem with that at all.
Oh,
so
delish.
people end up skipping breakfast because of the fact that they're too busy in the morning.
Yeah.
They just like leave it and just like go the whole day without food until like lunchtime.
I know, and if you're not intermittent fasting, it's not good for you.
Exactly. So this one is great because you have to make it the night before.
Okay.
But it's really great, super delicious. So I've got some oats here. These are normal rolled oats, which means that the actual groat has been rolled over and flattened.
The groat.
The groat.
Is that a thing?
It is, absolutely.
Okay. That's groat.
And these are steel cut oats, so it's basically the groat that's just been cut almost into quarters, so it's quite chunky. I love it, I dig it, it's pretty cool. So you can use either the steel cut oats or you can use the rolled oats, doesn't matter. So to that we're gonna add some cinnamon. Cinnamon's great for, it's an amazing spice, health properties, but also an appetite stimulant.
What does that mean? The more stimulant, the more cinnamon you have, the less hungry you feel.
No, it's gonna make you like hungry. It's gonna make you hungry.
Get rid of the cinnamon.
But you're not gonna be like scoff off the cinnamon. It's just like prepares your body for the meal in a good way. Cool. Okay. Then we got some seeds. Now you can totally use whichever seeds you have. I'm trying to think of like I've got a pumpkin and sunflower. Like what seeds do you have at home?
Those.
Okay, so use these. Okay, so that can go in there. It's gonna add some extra crunch. And then we're not adding any sugar. We're actually adding our fruit.
Amazing.
So apple, because it's a Bircher inspired.
Berries would be so good in this as well.
So what I've got is I've got some dried raisins. You can use dried cranberries, but you could also use fresh cranberries if you want, or fresh blueberries. Again, what berries do you have at home?
Berries, blueberries.
Blueberries, there we go. Chuck those in.
I love blueberries.
I'm actually not a blueberry fan.
Are you really not?
No.
Wow, I don't know if we can be friends, but you know what I heard about them, actually? They're antioxidants and they're anti-aging.
There we go.
So it doesn't matter what they taste like, I'm still going to find them delicious.
There we go. Cool.
Okay.
So that's going to be our sweetness. No sugar added to that. Then you're going to add a beautiful clover milk.
Yeah, I mean, how much? Like just to the bottom so that all the oats is covered?
Exactly. So I normally say just cover your oats and then some.
Okay.
And then all you're going to do is you're going to give it a good mix.
Okay, I'll do that
there you
for
go.
you.
So did you know that every litre of clover milk goes through 55 different processes of testing? That's insane,
amazing.
Right? That's great. That's crazy. It's great. Cool. So now that's going to go to the fridge overnight.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then,
but you know what? I could just eat it like that.
You could. But they also be very chewy, which is also good.
Yeah.
Oh, work the facial muscles.
Hello, face yoga.
Yeah. There we go. Face yoga, like that. So they come out, the oats has now absorbed all that liquid. Yeah. We're going to add our authenticos to the top.
This, especially that flavour, is so
delicious.
Good. It smells delicious. It tastes
it's
so creamy.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
You're going to top it? There we go.
I'm going to use the same spoon. Because,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm doing the dishes, so I don't want to waste.
I like that a lot because you know.
How does that look? Is that how you're going to top it?
Yeah, well, you can give me some too.
Oh, yeah.
You can have, you can have that.
Okay.
And then apple goes over the top. And if you want a little bit of honey, you want some honey?
Yeah. Let's throw in some honey.
And that's how easy it is. Breakfast is done.
That is
but like
so
you said, I would totally have this for an office lunch.
Exactly. And I love that you have to do this the night before, which means early in the morning, when you're in a rush, you just grab it out of the fridge and eat on the go.
Eat it out of a cocktail glass and you're just feeling fancy all day.
I mean, does he know me or what? So remember to SMS the keyword Clover to 33650 and get this recipe sent directly to you. If you need to see this one more time, here is a quick recap. What?
Made with love by Clover.
It's delicious, hey? So it's all things Sun Met after the break as we chat to Gareth Flusk from Sun International. Plus, we chat to Tando and Sipumeze, who are co-founders of Estratweni Mobile Foods. And it's a social enterprise that is intentional in making a change in their community. We'll be right back after the break.
Clover fresh milk is way better. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express this glorious Thursday afternoon. Now, the Sun Met is known as Africa's biggest race day, and it's in its 157th year. This prestigious affair is where elite horse racing meets high-end fashion and top-notch entertainment, and it's one of the most highly anticipated events on our social calendar. So if you have ever wondered just how long it takes to pull off an event like this, worry no more, because today we are going to let you in on all of the details that make the Sun Met exactly what it is. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jeannie.
157th year. That's extraordinary to even comprehend that. Like, I can imagine what it looked like 157 years ago.
Yeah, well, I think a lot less building, I can tell you that much. I've seen some pictures of, you know, sort of into the 40s and the 50s, really not much around where Kenilworth is now, and what a very different place it was.
Wow.
And I think, you know, in terms of history, it used to be sort of known as like your best suit and shiny shoes kind of event, because, you know, you put on your shiny shoes, you might have walked there all in the dust and you had to kind of clean them off again, because this event really, I mean, it's a Cape Town event.
Yeah,
you know, it has
exactly.
captured the imagination of Cape Town, and I think I'm learning. I'm not from Cape Town at all, but I'm learning very much that Cape Townians are proud of the fact that the Met is here. So, you know, the Sun Met, it's the third year that Sun International have been involved, and we're really proud of the history.
Amazing. I've just got this image of 157 years ago, these women with corsets and those big, you know, flowy skirts and umbrellas, walking with men in top hats.
Absolutely,
wow. And it certainly hasn't lost any of that glamour. It's really super glamorous. How long does it take to organize an event of this magnitude?
Well, it feels like I've just actually finished the one in 2018 because the team really, they take a little while off and then, you know, everybody's back at it. There's a lot of logistics that go into it. There's so much building. There's really, we want to make the event different, but you also want to keep the basics the same. And I know that the team has really been building for almost 3 weeks. They're still at it now. They'll be finishing sort of late tomorrow, and then everything's ready for Saturday.
Amazing.
And the amount of staff that it actually does take, you're looking at a good 2 to 3 weeks of build. So, you know, there's a couple of hundred people on site now.
Amazing.
And a lot of effort goes into it. Some last minute changes too. But, you know, when you're coming to the Met as a, you know, as a customer, you won't see any of that. Everything will look as if it should be there.
Exactly. And you mentioned that every year you try and make a difference. Sun International is now the title sponsor and has been for 3 years. Hey?
Yes, this is our third
year.
So
how is this year going to be different to the previous years?
Well, I think one thing that we are trying to do is, because we understand it's a Cape Town event, you know, so Grand West is a big part of our family here in the Western Cape, so we're getting them a lot more involved, so their hospitality is right almost on the finish line. So really looking forward to that. You know, Grand West, really, they entertain their customers, so that's one big thing. The next thing that we always do for the public, 150 Rand gets you in, and it's an after party. That you get the after party as well. So Mafiki Zolo, DJ Maparisa, and Ladies Amar are going to be performing.
Amazing.
I mean, that's great value for 150 Rand any day of the week. So that's one thing that we're doing. But also, we know that
Usain Bolt.
Yes, Usain Bolt will be there. He'll be arriving in style once again. Thanks to our partners, GH Mum, for that. You know, and they do a fantastic hospitality too. But from a Sun International side, we really are asking people to engage with the whole event. So we've got something called Passport to Sun. And as you may well know, you know, Sun City belongs to us. We've got a new place up in Pretoria, Times Square, where a lot of people from the Western Cape might never have been. Miss SA has moved there now. So, and also up at Sun City, we've got the Golf Challenge. So what we're doing is we're saying to people, come to the Sun Met and go onto Instagram, go onto Twitter, follow the official Sun Met accounts, and look out for instructions, because we're giving away a prize that will take you through the whole year, all the way up to the next Sun Met.
What a great prize.
But you'll get a stay at the Table Bay, you'll get a stay at the Palace, you'll get a stay up at Times Square.
Wow.
Golden Circle tickets to the concerts that we have at our properties. So,
well, I would like to enter that. That is
absolutely.
A great prize.
Yeah, it is a great prize. And last the whole year, because the last one of your prizes is a VVIP ticket to Sun Met 2020.
Oh, that is amazing. Okay, I'm totally entering that one. Let's discuss the theme for this year.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting one.
Yeah,
African luxury, precious metals.
Yes.
So we're Africa's richest race day.
Yeah.
We started off and we thought, what better way to start with celebrating Africa? If we can't do it, who can? And start off with what's in the ground. So gold, silver, copper, platinum. Beautiful. We're looking for lots of that inspiration. And I know that in a couple of the shows here on SABC already, we've seen some designs.
We've had some here on Afternoon Express.
Yes, you have indeed. And those designers, along with 2 designers from Johannesburg as well, House of Olay and Biji, who we often deal with Miss South Africa, they're going to be there. There's 4 fashion shows on the day. So I think the theme is, for lack of a better word, rich. You really are looking to see what the designers are going to produce, and I'm looking forward to seeing the red carpet as well.
Oh, there you go. So when you're planning your outfits, make sure you look rich. Thank you so much for being here. I certainly can't wait. What are you wearing?
I'm not going to say, because it's not over the top. I'm not coming in a gold sequin jacket or anything like that, because I did see one in the week and I thought, no, I can't pull that off. No chance.
Oh, I'm sure you could pull it off. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. It's all happening this Saturday. It's going to be good. Tando and Sipumeze started out working for an NGO, running after-school programs, support groups, and youth development groups. Now, these initiatives helped grow their passion for developing their community by creating a social enterprise called Estratweni Mobile Foods, which is helping to curb unemployment in their community. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
I think what you've done is so smart because you identified a problem within the community and then figured out how to fix it. I love solutions, people. What were some of the problems that you were facing?
When we look around our community, we really found out that unemployment is really high.
Yeah.
And then there's just lack of quality when it comes to food, of which this is where we tapped in. People have been, the hygiene issue has been in question when you're coming around, when it comes to food stalls, and mostly unemployment was what actually caught our attention, because at that time as well, we resigned our work and we were unemployed. And we had to borrow 200 rands from his sister to start Estratweni, and Estratweni literally means on the streets. So we're literally selling on the streets,
I think that is so inspirational. So you literally borrowed 200 rand from your sister. And then how do you start a business? You just resigned from your jobs and you've got 200 rand. Now what do you do?
I think for us is that we didn't have any choice. So we didn't have any choice because I don't have my grade 12, and again, I didn't have, so any connection that I was gonna get a job, so it was gonna be hard. So I think hunger mostly, it's not because if we sat down and planned the Estratweni, it's been a coincidence, and we just sold muffins because that's the only thing that we could do. We just borrowed 200 rand from my sister and we went in the morning, like selling muffins in the bus stations, in the train station, just pushing. So it's not something we planned, but along the way we've been growing, and we've seen like many people following us, and so that's when we saw this. It is a really business opportunity, and again, it's solving a problem in the township, because the food that we're selling, it's the same food that you buy in town. So, but at the same time, you need to go and travel for it to go in town. So we tried to bring the same food that we'll get in town and bring it now in the township, but it's going to be convenient for the customer.
Amazing, and of course, obviously a little bit cheaper because you don't have to factor in transport.
Our prices are so cheap,
and I'm sure the food's very good. So, how have you managed to solve the unemployment problem, or just help to solve an unemployment problem? Have you been able to employ people? Have you been able to upskill people?
Yeah, definitely. One of our desires was to at least be a stepping stone if someone wants to work with us and go to a formal job. Because let's face it, 52% of the youth is unemployed, and 27 of those youth are actually graduates. And both of us are not even graduates. We didn't even finish our grade 12, so we know exactly how tough will it be for those who are in the corner. So recently, right now, we're standing with 5 permanent guys that are working with us and 5 that are part-time. So all in all, we have 10 guys that we've empowered, and they're so amazing.
I think it's such a difficult position to be in. Like, if you consider, if you're unemployed, if you haven't gotten, any tertiary education. But I think it's so inspiring how you were able to take that situation and create a business out of it and do well. What advice can you give to young people in the community who are struggling? Because I think there's always, an option to resort to crime and to become depressed and go to drugs and drinking, especially in that situation. What advice do you have to people to figure out a way how to create their own businesses and become an entrepreneur?
I think I would say is just accepting the fact that solution is not going to come from anyone else. Like, you got to be that solution, and you got to hustle. And so that's the only thing that I would say. Just use what you have into achieving what you don't have. So that's our motto. Like, it's hustling. Even now, like, there's no one who have helped us, like, in growing, like Estratweni. We've pushed ourselves. We hustled in the morning every time. So the advice I would say to the young person, just hustle, man. You gotta do something. Don't sit down there. No one is gonna give you any help. You gotta do it. Help might come and join along the way, but you gotta start something. Just start it.
And you've contributed so much to your community now, not only by providing amazing food, but also I think you've hired 5 people as well.
We've hired guys specifically that will never get a job opportunity.
Really?
So those are the guys that came and we were looking for them that come and work with us. So we're not looking on guys that they know how to cook or they have any job experience, or fully guys that will never get a job opportunity. These are the guys that we've hired in our team, and I think that's what brings joys in our hearts and even in our community when they see these guys. That yesterday he was begging in the corner, but now it seemed like him working, and so that's what brings joys in our community and even in our hearts.
I think, I wish you guys the best of success, because the fact that that was your intention in the beginning to help people like that is so beautiful. And I think when that is how you start, I just think you're going to be blessed with so much success. Really, you deserve it. Now, what kind of food do you guys serve? Is it good?
It's super good. It's super good.
So what kind of things are on your menu?
We're having beef burgers, and they go for 15 rand. A basic beef burger, 100 gram beef burger, and we're doing boerewors, which is the best boerewors in Cooks.
Best boerewors in town.
Best boerewors in town, and we're also doing like chicken wraps, and everything is it's so affordable because you don't need to travel to go into town, and so this is what brings growth, and that's why we make like a lot of revenue. It's when we put our prices so low, but still getting quality at the same time. So these are the kind of food that we sell.
And where do people find you now? Because I reckon anyone now that's in Googs is now salivating. They want one of your burgers now. Where can they go get one?
We're in Gugulethu, outside Gugulethu Mall. And as well, you can also get us in Philippi Library. On Facebook, you can check us out, Estratweni Mobile Foods. On Instagram, Estratweni Mobile Foods. As well on Twitter, Estratweni Mobile Foods.
Amazing. Congratulations, and I wish you all of the best.
Thank you very much.
Lovely having you here. After the break, we meet actress Kajal Bagwandeen and director Bianca Isaac from the movie 3 Days to Go, which premieres at cinemas nationwide tomorrow.
Clover Crush, 100% pure fruit juice packed with vitamins and no added sugar. Crush, your daily dose of goodness. Now also available in long life.
Made with love by Clover.
welcome back to Afternoon Express. And if you're in the mood for a movie, watch this. The movie 3 Days to Go is the directorial debut of award-winning producer Bianca Isaac. It serves a slice of life with a storyline applicable to any culture and race, with funny moments and deeply touching ones that'll open in cinemas nationwide on the 25th of January 2019. Watch this.
I can't believe he's dead.
Who's dead?
Dad.
That'd be the day.
He died a few hours ago.
What?
How did that happen?
His heart stopped.
No, that's impossible.
Apparently that can happen. No one is touching his books, his clothes, or anything that belonged to him. Okay, so you just want to keep his stuff around like he's still alive? It's amazing that my parents kept it together. And they actually had a happy marriage. I'll say the same for Ricky or Amy or Melissa.
Claire staying with the house.
First she takes my husband and now my house.
This is what we want.
No, Roy, it's what you want. What about what I want?
You think you're the only person that hates your life? If we hate our lives so much, then why do we stay together?
Maybe that's why you're scared to marry me.
What?
You're scared we'll end up just like them.
I'm not like them, and you are definitely not like their partners.
Jan, we're going to be leaving just now. You know we're supposed to have left early this morning, and look at the time now.
Great, he sounds cheerful.
Tell me something I don't know.
Ricky.
Babes, thank God it's you. How you doing, babes?
Where's my money?
I mean, I don't have it with me right now.
Let's try this again. Where's my money?
If anyone can handle this family, it's you.
Janet, you need to stop thinking about yourself for a minute, and we need to start thinking as a unit, as a family.
Oh my, you're not even joking.
Oh, lady, shut your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking to my mother?
What's happening?
Why? Hey, boys!
Why are you listening to Ricky? He's drunk. You're drunk.
What's going on? 3 days, right? How bad could it be?
What makes you think you know the Bhagavad Gita better than I do, huh?
No, I'm just saying...
You're just saying our yearly calendar is incorrect and that you are going to rewrite the whole Bhagavad Gita like you write one of your children's books. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? No, it's correct.
Oh, you know it's going to be a good movie when you laugh and cry just in the trailer. Welcome to the show, Bianca, Kajal.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Jeannie.
for having us.
So happy to have you here. Firstly, congratulations to both of you. This is outstanding. And congratulations to you. It's your directorial debut.
Yes.
Taking off your producer cap. What was it like? I mean, outstanding job.
Thank you. I mean, you never really know until we hear it from everybody else.
I mean, how difficult is it to kind of focus on one thing when, I mean, because I know being on set, I like to do everything myself. But kind of taking off your producer hat, putting on your director hat, what are the things that you need to focus on?
You know, in the beginning, I felt a bit useless because as a producer, you're like, okay, these are the 500 things that I have to do all at one time.
Yeah.
And so when you're directing, you're like, okay, this is the only thing I'm doing. But what was so nice for us is that this was an ensemble piece. And so to be able to give each actor the same amount of energy and the same amount of time and the same amount of love ended up taking up all my time. Yeah. And so the experience is equally beautiful, but in a different way. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And now you did co-produce the film.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What goes into producing a film of this magnitude?
You know, working behind the scenes on this film was the first time I did.
Yeah.
So I'm the casting director on it as well, and I have been doing. And Bianca, when we met, she said, "I want you to cast this film," and I've done casting before, but this is my first film doing it on my own.
Yeah.
And then I got involved behind the scenes, and then she said, I think you should co-produce it because I've been wanting to get into production, and who better to learn from than, you know, an expert, of course. So, and I'm in the film, so wearing so many, you know, hats.
You're like a little Kevin Costner.
I'm very old.
A little one. But it's really opened up my eyes to so much more. I've learned so much, and I think by being behind the camera, I've learned about, you know, what I want to be like as an actor in front of the camera as well, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, you know. It's been an amazing learning curve for me.
Yeah. Now, the cast is unbelievable. I mean, high five. Does Jonathan take his shirt off at any point?
Well, we've had this discussion.
He's wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the cast and why you chose each actor to play each cast member.
So I had this film that I was making, and I had a couple of actors in mind. So the first thing I did is I met Leander really funnily. She tells a story better than me, though. We were both at the SAFTAs, and it was a big night. Both of us had won awards, and we met backstage. And I'm like, dude, I'm writing a movie. Can I write it for you? And she's like, yeah, you can do that. So I started building from there what this family was going to look like, so that I wrote for those actors in mind. I was fortunate enough to get everybody that I wanted, and I had a few surprises. Although she did have to audition, right?
Yeah.
Just like everybody. And then the biggest surprise, so I got everybody I wanted, so that's like a dream come true. And the biggest surprise was I couldn't find a mom.
Yeah.
And we had been sitting and talking about who's going to be this mom, who's going to be this mom. And we both grew up around watching Lilette Dubé on screen from Monsoon Wedding and the Best Marigold Hotel. And she said, you know what, let's just try. What's the worst thing that could happen? They never get back to us.
Amazing.
And then a week later, they got back to us. And she was on board. And then she was here. And then we shot the movie.
You know, when we contacted Lilette's manager, we had no expectations. And I said to Bianca, she is huge, you know. She does Hollywood and she does Bollywood. Let's have no expectations.
Now she does Sollywood.
Yeah. Oh, apparently, I mean, the newspaper called it Dollywood, you know, because it's shot in Durban.
Dollywood today. Durban's version.
I love it.
We're owning Dollywood today.
It's got a good ring to it.
Definitely.
And we expected her not to respond, or her manager. And then she wanted to see the script. We said, okay, that's great. And then she read the script, and within a week, they called us and said, yes, I want to do it. And she loves South Africa.
Yeah.
She absolutely loves it. She absolutely loves it. I mean, she's waiting to come back and shoot another film.
Last week.
Yeah.
Amazing.
When like Durban was on fire, she was here. She was such a trooper. And then she's like, sorry, guys, I gotta go. I have like 5 movies and a thing and a thing. I'm like,
well, that's wonderful.
Now, I want to know about the film and what it was like to write it and why you wanted to write it in particular. I mean, because it deals with so many different themes and it's sad, it's funny. How do you write a film like this?
So I realize I'm not really a great storyteller when it comes to a singular hero.
Yeah.
That's not my strong point. So if ever I do a film like that, please let me know. I won't say this.
But nowadays, nobody needs a singular hero.
Yes, we need many heroes in our life. And I wanted to portray 4 women that were going through various issues in their lives, as well as men.
Yeah.
You know, when you put the brother in and friends and partners, I wanted to show that that is normal. That is life. Yeah. You wake up every day and you experience this. And when you watch the film, you can say, okay, I've experienced that. I know somebody who has, my brother,
it is so
my sister.
relatable.
It is relatable.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's do that. Let's make a family film because everybody in the world can relate to that. Yeah. And as much as it's an Indian cast, when you watch the film, you actually forget about that because you think to yourself, this is my family right here.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really matter. Yeah. And we started putting... It was much better to do a funeral than it was to do a wedding. Right? We're like, okay, when do we gather? Weddings, funerals, baptisms, and so everything else is a little bit happy. So let's choose a wedding where everyone's really depro, but are they?
No, but it's about pulling at the heart, you know, the strings of the heart.
Exactly.
And I think losing anyone in your family, be it a parent, a grandparent, and we all can relate to that. And we all can see that either sibling or someone we know that's a drunk or a gambler or acting as if her life is perfect. Meanwhile, it's like falling down, you know, behind the scenes. So no doubt when you watch it, you will either see yourself, who knows, or someone you know.
Yeah. And it looks like there's so many plot twists, like Tumi Morake, who's just outstanding. I mean, she's amazing.
She is.
I mean, to me, I remember we were having quite a giggle last night, and she's like, you know, now I kind of get it. And I said to her, own it and be sexy, okay? Can you be like a badass sexy?
Yeah.
So that we want to be scared of you, but we also want to love you. And if I ever wanted a bad guy, could you be the bad guy that comes looking for you? And she killed it. She did a fantastic.
She's the perfect bad guy.
I think it's got a good balance. So what the film does is that it starts off, it's got a fine balance of humor while we introduce this world that we're living in, and as it goes through, it changes into this dramatic tone.
Yeah.
And once it does that, you're pulling on the heartstrings of the family. Yeah. And by then, you're rooted in the story. And just when you think, okay, I get it now, the characters themselves take a turn.
Yeah.
And so it pulls you a bit deeper into it. And then there's bits of sarcasm. So I think people burst out laughing because of that.
Yeah.
And then there's strengths. It's, where the characters have to dig deep down inside. And
we're going to laugh, we're going to cry, but we're going to love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
of course, supporting the movie business in South Africa is paramount. So you've got to watch the film and you have to watch the film within the first 2 weeks of it being released so that it can go overseas and it can make the money so that we can have more local films. Okay, please go watch it. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you so
really,
much,
really
Shani.
important.
Thank you.
After the break, poet Vendaboy, who is also an actor on popular SABC2 soapy Muvhango, joins us and performs in The Loft. You do not want to miss that. We'll be right back.
Clover Crush. 100% pure fruit juice packed with vitamins and no added sugar. Crush, your daily dose of goodness. Now also available in long life.
Made with love by Clover.
1 2 1 2.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, and now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Vendaboy writes his poetry based on social issues and cultural expression within Africa. So his work embraces our rich cultural heritage and is an inspiration to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vendaboy. And what are you going to be performing?
Mbopoloro. It means
Bopoloro.
freedom. Yes.
All right, Bopoloro.
Opolo, freedom, Kalino Shango, Itota unity, Opolo, freedom,
Bopolo, Zamazumulor, Munorabon, Musibatuma Dobufura, Susana Rufrecheza, Rushaka Rudopuma, Matakani Wanabatukundu Wopa, Gobora Purufero, Rushaka Rudopuma, Musuch the Funga Bopolo, Satenge, Tedeta, Musibana Bahari with the Zuba Matakani, Supato with the Satama Museto, but you want to send your finger to the Woods in the Mikania Sambia, Ye Bianca, the Katanga, so Galila Namebia, Gatubu was Shuma Mazakova Mama Quatini, but you know Bopolo, Urumongo de Bopolo, Bopolo,
Bopolo, Frito, Kalino Shango, Itota Unity, Bopolo, Frito, Vano Shangoni, Itota Uti.
Nemenga bachishuma kishi abachena kutsenga bakotoni bodiva farera ubopolo wakarineso similoro yena tifo miloro ya modiweza shout out to Oliver Tambo na Mandela Hector Peterson jino rikoniererwa ninga dinkuzonga Steve Biko coolest king in the jungle na nendi nambizo ndinyi wachingari switu zunga change shangolote lato busonga muvenda borama pusa nelanga na mwindilelo umachero hashango so sinondi hashu aluta continue ngazi hango Joe Slovo rutendo kabarina hobu pikwa satubona uswekerera tanga ndurushaka rudikone ri onenda kari kunde mbopo za usiwana
Moporo Frito Kalino Shango Itota Unity Moporo Frito Vano Shangoni Itota Buti
Open Mulora Pon, Musrichila Fono Poneta, Urian Fakati Member to Pembera Fubia Pandera, Nanga Fubia Pandera, Namusiru Chilamoporo, Niamani Karazianga, Baratubanga, whatever Farapon and Machero, Urumachero the Chilamoporo, Sarano Takata Marindran, Ganya Banga Marindran, Member Poro the Funga, Nissa Angwi, Albert Trutuli, Natsan Roleta Mandela, Christiani, Oliver Tambo, Robert Subukwe, Atinga Hangwi, Hector Peterson, Amanda, away to Mata, Yaruna, Matimba, Ahina, Manda, Diash, Vendaboy Poet in the rain.
Frito, Kalino Shango, Itota Unity, Moporo, Frito, Vano Shangoni, Itota Uti.
Yay! You are so energizing. That is so cool. Come on over. You inspired me to almost pull a Naomi Campbell and go, Amandela.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. We're off air due to the cricket, so we'll see you again on Monday afternoon. Goodbye. Thank you so much for being on the show. You're all
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.